Kia ora, good morning. Today I want to continue a thought that I had yesterday, I think, 2 days ago. I thought of sharing some of my numbers publicly, if I do a build in public, I want to share some of the follower counts, the monthly recurring revenue when that comes in. And that is not good. There we go. And I want to hook up ideally live information. So if I want to share my Twitter followers, I'd like that to be the real and current value. If I want to share my Twitch followers, I want that to be the real value, and not having to redeploy my now always statically generated Next.js site. I thought of hooking up some APIs, and what I had in mind I can share real quick over here. You come out. So because the site doesn't exist yet, this was a mock-up. This is roughly what I had in mind. Just a page on my site that shares some of my numbers. How many hours ago did I stream last? How many hours total did I stream? How many followers? How many? That Duolingo streak I don't think I can get with an API. But that is the basic idea. So I saw that Twitch itself, where you are probably watching this right now, has an API that we can get at least some of this information from. I'm not sure what exactly we can get from it, but I guess I assume that I can at least get the current follower count and maybe the when I streamed last, or if I am live. So that information would be neat to show on the site. I so far have only set up authentication, and we're going to do most of today looking at an API response. So there is an API for Twitch that we can use to build plugins that we can use to, if we could authenticate users through it and then automatically update their channels. But this is a server-to-server scenario. So I want to have an endpoint in my own application that I talk to get my numbers, that I get my Twitch numbers from, and that endpoint will then talk to Twitch for me. So I don't need to provide it my username, I don't need to provide it my password. It needs a client ID, and it needs a client secret that we can get from the Twitch interface, the developer interface itself. I assume we can't do everything with that, so I can't update my channel information with that, because this is an application, and it would need my password to be able to change something about my profile. All it can do, I think, is read information that's publicly available, such as the number of followers. I have not worked with the Twitch API beyond that, so all I know is how to authenticate and how to get an access token. That's the point that I got to yesterday, and we can now use this access token to hopefully get some information. In the API documentation at dev.twitch.tv, there is a bunch of stuff that I don't understand. There are a lot of endpoints, so we could programmatically start a commercial. We could get analytics for an extension. We could get some information about bits, and now we could get, and I'm gonna go through these and see if there's anything interesting in here. So get channel information is one that I think might be interesting. I think that's what I had. No. Get channel information. Get channel information for users. We need a valid user token or app access token. We have an app access token to talk to that endpoint. And then we can get this endpoint. Where'd you go? Oh, lost it again. We can get information from api.twitch.tv/helix, which is their current version of the API. I think it's versions. I think they just deprecated version 5 or took that offline even. And channels. And we have to pass it the query parameter of broadcaster ID, which is a string. Now I don't know what my broadcaster ID is. And we could get information for multiple channels at the same time. And if we give it that, there's nothing else we can pass, so we can only pass it broadcaster ID. We get the broadcaster ID, broadcaster login, so the login name, not the login information. The broadcaster name, so the display name and the login name are different. game name, the name of the game being played on the channel, which is a string. So is a channel just about a single game? Broadcaster language, title, and delay, the stream delay in seconds. So what you see now isn't full. What I see now isn't fully live. It's delayed by a few seconds because of information. But no, that's not super interesting then. So the title of my stream and stream delay, I don't think I want to put that anywhere. So let's not do that information. There's something called channel points. There's chat. I don't think I can get chat messages, but I can get chat settings. I could programmatically create a clip for a dashboard. That's not what I want. Get entitlements, extensions. We're probably gonna get to you as in users soon. Games, game goal, hype train, moderation. Nope, this is all about the, not a poll. S, we're getting close, dangerously close to the U. Schedule, okay, schedule though. Do I want to get the channel stream schedule so I can see when I'm going to stream next? That, maybe that could be something that I want to put on my website. Maybe not. Get channel iCalendar. Update? No, we don't want to, and I don't think we can update without a user token. Get stream channel segment. Nothing delete. No search categories. It's not alphabetically because suddenly we have, it was probably called soundtrack before. Search, get soundtrack, current track. It's called music now. Streams. Get stream key, get streams. What is a, get information about active streams. But that's probably across all of Twitch. Get followed streams, create stream marker, subscriptions, tags, users, get users. So probably something in the get users or get users follows. I want to see how many, I want to get from the API how many users follow my account on Twitch. I don't need a block list. So that's not too much actually. We're gonna take it from the last one that we had. Get users follows. Let's start with get users. For that we need an app access token. Yep, we have that. For the authentication, and then for the authorization we need an OAuth token with user read email scope to include the user's verified email address in the response. Okay, I don't need that one. We don't need to pass it any parameters, but we can optionally pass it an ID, which is user ID or a login. And I think I read here that we can identify users either by their user ID or by their login name, and we can provide a total of 100. So 50 of each, or however you want to split that up, 50 user IDs or 50 user logins, or 2080 or 3070. But a total of 100. I need one. I want exactly one. I want information about me. And what do we get in the response? We get the broadcaster type, we get a description, which is a description of the user's channel, the display name, the ID, login name, offline image, profile image, user type, total number of views of the user's channel. That might be something I want to share, and the user's verified email address only if this one scope is passed, and the date when the user was created. So not the number of people that follow me, but that's okay because we are going to start with the total number of views of the user's channel. How do we do that? I have an example here. So we want to now in my, down here. There we go. After I receive the response and now have the access token, then I can const user response is await. We want to await the fetch call, and we want to call https://api.twitch.tv/helix/users ?ID. No, we're gonna go login because I know my login is probably done Havazak because that's what it is everywhere. And we also need to pass, what do we need to pass? We need to pass an authorization and a client ID. in headers. So the /h, the -h here means pass these as headers, and it is a GET request, so we can, in the options, we can provide it with, we can say method is GET if we want to be explicit. It is GET if we don't provide it, but why not put it there? And I think it's then headers, right? Headers on the GET, and I have that open here so we can confirm. Headers, yeah. Method, mode, cache, credentials, headers, and we can, in the headers object, provide multiple headers. Let's do that. So we want the header of authorization. It doesn't need to be in quotes. The authorization is bearer, and I assume then here you want my access token. And you want the client ID, which is and that is stored in my environment variables. I don't want to hard code this in here because that could potentially leak. That's not good. Process env dot Twitch client ID. We're gonna await that, and then we are going to const user JSON await response dot JSON, and I would expect in the result to get, and let's just log it out. Console log user JSON. Let's see if that now broke everything. Away from here. I might have to make you a bit smaller. Body already used for. What did I use the body for? Why does this have a body? I am going to off screen because I don't want to share my tokens. Check this call real quick. I have paw open here, so if I did, what was the response here? This is my access token. So I'll be back on screen in a second. If we do HTTPS API twitch.tv /helix/users with the login of Dom Habazak and the headers of authorization bearer u and client ID. I forgot what my client ID was. Here and run u. So here in my paw, or in my, you could use, what's the other one? Postman. You could do this exact call, and here I get the response back. So what are you trying to tell me, Lassie? Let's check that here. Body already used. Ah, silly. That was silly. Okay. Can you see it? I am using the body of the response twice. So here I first do an authorization request to id.twitch.tv, and then I get JSON by awaiting response.json, and here that apparently uses this body, and down here I forgot to use the user response. So I did await the JSON of the same response, and that apparently isn't cool. So now we want the user JSON. What is that? So at least it doesn't give us an error anymore, and let's put it out here. The user JSON. Okay, so that is the response that I get. That's a bit more than what I need. But it shows that this is my profile, this is my login ID, this is my display name, this is the description that I have, a profile image URL. That's probably, what's that? Probably the same picture I use everywhere. Yeah, exactly. That is me. I don't have an offline image URL because I don't know what that is. But from this, I want the view count. I don't want all the other stuff. So here we're going to go, what did they call it? The total view count, right? The total number of views. So we're going to go, what do we need? What do we need? So first of all, from the response, let's say, let's go like this. So we want the view count is user JSON, and now this is an object that has data in it. So we're going to go data. And let's return the view count. We're going to work our way towards that step by step. That wasn't quite what I had in mind. Ah, yeah, it was. It was. So now what was called data before, what was called user.json.data is now view count. And if I remove those curly brackets here, we would see that this is a bit different. I think that this would break because, no, it wouldn't. Okay. Let's put it back in the surround word, in the curly brackets. I want, this is an array now. View count is an array right now, and I want the first object. So give me the object at index 0. So now it is the object, view count is this object, and from here I want the underscore, the view underscore count. Reload this, and I could now use this on my page to put the view count, the total number of views of my videos across all of my Twitch videos on there live. It does, like, if the number changes later, right now it's pretty static, I can return that. That is, however, everything I can reasonably get from this user endpoint. Everything else, like the ID, the offline image URL, I'm not going to need for the dashboard. So we're going to have to call another endpoint as well in addition to this user's endpoint. I'm not going to do any cleanup just yet. I just want to see if I can get the information, and then we can still make it pretty later. Yeah, I could save a few lines here probably, but that's not necessary right now. As I said, nothing else from this endpoint that I have use for. Maybe the user's ID, maybe if that becomes relevant later, so I'm gonna leave that open. Get users follows. Gets information on follow relationships between two Twitch users. So I can give it user 1 and user 2, and it would tell me, do they follow each other? This can return information like who is this person following, who is following this person, or is user X follow. Okay, so it's not just give it true, but also here's a user who's following them. Information returned is sorted in order, most recent follow first. I'm not going to put, I could potentially, okay, with this I could potentially put the latest X followers on my dashboard, but I only, for now I'm going to need the raw number. And here, okay, so the user ID is relevant. Check that out. So we need a user auth token or an app access token. We have the app access token, so we can rely on that. We don't need any user login because we're not going to do anything specific with the information of the user. We can ask, okay, so we don't have any required parameters, so I could just request follows. And if I give it from, it returns information about users who are being followed by this user. So I could say, who do I follow? Or who does this person, whose ID I have somewhere, who do they follow? Or more interesting for the dashboard I'm trying to build is the toID. The request returns the information about users who are following the toID user. Yeah. So another const follows request. Gonna keep in mind that I need to do follows request.json in a second. Await fetch. We want to fetch https api.twitch.tv/helix/ and you are /users/ not users again, follows, and I want to pass the to_id, which is my user ID, which I don't have yet. User ID. We can get the user ID from the user JSON that we got earlier. If I don't know it, I can just use it from the call that I did before, because this is all being awaited. It all happens in sequence. And I think it was just straight up ID. ID on the same level as view count was. So if I have view count here, I can use ID here. That seems good. And what else do I need? Headers again. I can say method is get, because this is a get request, but I don't have to. It's get by default. Doesn't hurt to be explicit. Headers is an object. Again, we want to do, I think, the same too, right? Authorization and client ID. Client ID, I don't even know if that is necessary. What do you have in the examples? Responses we're going to look at in a second. Yeah, authorization is the bearer token and client ID. And this is what we'll get back. And if that works, I forgot an equals sign here. To_id equals my user ID. So the user ID of the user that I pass in. What does that do? It doesn't do anything because I'm not doing anything with the response yet. So we are going to do const follows JSON is await follows request.json. And I'm going to pass that in here as well, the follows JSON. So my full follows JSON is a total of 20, because across the following and followed, followers and followees, I get 20 users, which is good enough for me. So I have 2 login name, and that is, okay, that's fine. I don't even, I guess I do see, hey, if you're here, hi, nice to have you. I see all the usernames of the people that follow me, and I get a total, right? If I only pass it the to_id, the total that it returns, even if it does pagination, the total I assume will always be the number of people that follow me. Don't make this go down now on stream though. That'd be embarrassing. How do I now get the value to my response here? I'm gonna go const follower count. So I have the view count and I have the follower count, which would be the follows JSON and straight up just the total. It's cool that it does give me more information about them. I could use that now and put like latest follower on here as well, but that's not what I'm looking for. So if I get view count 206 and total 20 in my response now, those are the metrics that I'm looking for regarding the Twitch API. So that was, I mean, I'm going to keep going when I look at more things in the, more features of the API. But that, for what I had in mind, remember I showed you, where did I show you? I showed you this over here. If I want to show Twitch followers, I would have that now. I also have the total view count, which I don't have in this mockup yet, but I could add. Can I get information about the hours I have streamed, and can I get when the last live stream was? Those would be neat. Let's see if the API can do that. I think from the follows, users follows API, as we saw, we get followed at. Okay, for each user I could show when the last person followed me was. That's not, I mean, I could, but that doesn't seem super relevant. That doesn't seem super interesting for a dashboard. Maybe though, right? I wonder if maybe if I don't have any other values, I can just put on the dashboard, last time someone followed me was 15 days ago, which could be Maybe, but first I want to see if I can get the other information out of the API. And total number of items returned. If only 2 ID was in the request, this is the total number of followers. Ideal. This is what I wanted. It's a bit odd when we do both from and to. So does this person follow this person? And it is either 1 or a 0. It doesn't return a true or a false. It returns a 1 if that from person follows the to person, or a 0 if they don't. Yeah, this is exactly what we got, and we could, since they are sorted chronologically with the latest follower first, I could use this to put on my dashboard last time someone followed me. I don't need to show their information, don't need to show their login or username, display name, I mean. I could just show, hey, last time someone followed me was 15 hours ago, or was it 2 days ago in my case. But I'm gonna keep that in mind. That is the users follows endpoint. What else did we have earlier? I think these I can close. I had the this was the get users, where we got the user ID that we needed, which was created at, which is never gonna change. I'd like to have updating values there. Get followed streams. Gets information about active streams belonging to channels that are authenticated user follows. Gets information about active streams belonging to channels that the authenticated user follows. Okay, so this one I can't do because it is a user action. It needs a user login so that I can see of the people that I follow, are any streams active? Or I'm gonna keep that in mind though, because what information does it give me about this stream? I can't use that because I have server-to-server authentication here. This is only an application login, not a user login. I could get information about the game, the language, when it was. That would be interesting. Started at, if I could get that about my streams. Tags, which I'm not gonna do anything with. Thumbnail, title maybe. Like this endpoint isn't relevant anyways, but if I want to get the title of my last stream, I could put that on there. I would get the user ID, user login, username, viewer count, number of viewers watching the stream at the time of the query. So that could be interesting later if another endpoint returns that as well. Hey, I'm live right now and I have 0 viewers. It's something that I could see in the footer of my website, for example. But no, that one is no help. Get streams. Gets information about active streams. Streams are returned sorted by number of current viewers in descending order. So I'm way at the bottom. Across multiple pages of results, there may be duplicate or missing streams as viewers join and leave streams. Okay. This works with an app access token, so we could get some information from there. What optional? There's no required parameters, but we can. Okay, cool. This is better. Okay, so we could do, if we have pagination, if there's more than X number of results, but we can actually search by a user ID. Returns streams broadcast by 1 or more specified user IDs. You can specify up to 100 IDs. Well, I want streams broadcast by me, by my user ID. Let's try that. We do a const, what's the endpoint? So that would be the streams request is await fetch, and we are going to await https. We're going to fetch api.twitch.tv/helix/streams, and as an optional query parameter, the user ID, which is my user ID. I assume the options are the same again, so we can move that to a helper function later. I'm gonna do method is get, because this is a get request, get endpoint. Headers are, I'm gonna copy the same over. It needs an access token and it needs a client ID. And then we can await the streams JSON is await streams request.json. And we're going to put that with the other two values just to see what it returns. Streams JSON. I would assume that would already work. Error not found. I'm live though. I'm streaming. Why can you not find my stream? User underscore ID is my user ID. Get them with this access token and this client ID. And show me why you would return a 404. Why? Wait, 404 means the endpoint doesn't exist. Okay, yeah, I have a typo in the endpoint. I wrote /helix/stream singular, but of course, this being a REST API, is streams plural. Load this again. And there we have it. There we have information about my stream right now. So this is my user login, this is my username. Game ID is software and game development. I don't know if there's a better category on Twitch for what I'm doing here. Type live is neat. Type live is cool because I can potentially use that to show am I live right now or am I not live right now. My user ID is... What happens if I have a different user ID? If I just add another... What if I just add another value? What if we do just a random person stream now? Just add it to... Probably doesn't exist. Okay, yeah, that doesn't exist. But we are going to do parse int. We're going to parse the string that is my user ID. And we're going to add one. So we're just going to see what the next user over is up to. No, nothing. They probably have never... if someone has never streamed, I doubt they'd show up here. Yeah, someone that doesn't have any streams, why would I get information about their streams? Okay, so I'm gonna assume that we can look at the API, we can look at the documentation. This is what it's there for. So I can look at this and I can see there are some tags. Yeah, I could get information on this is not a mature stream. I have a viewer count. Hi, the two of you. I could put the live viewer count on my site. I put the live title on there. Now I wonder if I would also get previous streams from that. So what do we have? This is the get streams. Gets information about active streams, so it has to be active then. Streams are return sorted by number of current viewers in descending order. Across multiple pages of results, there may be duplicate or missing streams as viewers join and leave streams. Sure. The response has a JSON payload with a data field containing an array of stream information. We can confirm that. This is again data as we had with the view count here. And an array of objects. So I'm going to want the first one from that anyways, because I'm only asking for one user's ID. Has a JSON payload with data containing an array of stream information elements and a pagination. It's never going to have to paginate because I will only ever stream once at the same time. Optional query parameters we don't really care about. I mean, I could limit it now to give me only the, what was it, software and development streams that I do, but that's all I do on this channel. I get in a response the stream ID, the ID of the user who is streaming. I know that already. Login, I know display name for the user ID, ID of the game, name of the game. Stream type is either, okay, that's too bad, is either live or error. No, live or empty string. But I can use that. So if I know I can request this user's... I'm thinking of adding a second endpoint to get my live status. I could get, if it's live, I'm live. If it's an empty string, I am not live. So let's do that. Const is live is... Oh, wait, I have to do that down here. Down here. Streams JSON. Again, give me the first element, give me data. That's the same as we... Wait, oh no, it's the other way around. Give me data, give me here, it's the same we do up here with user JSON data. And give me the type. Now I don't just want to have the type, the string either live or empty string. I want to compare this to, is this the string live? I know the API promises it's going to be live if it's live. So I could put follower count and is live in my response and see if I'm live right now. View count, follower count is live, true. I could get the title. See, I'd like to get that for previous streams as well. So for the dashboard, I want to have numbers that ideally would go up and change. But I imagine that in addition to this dashboard, I would also, isn't it neat how I can just highlight text on here on an image, which is a new macOS feature, still adore that. I'm imagining in addition to this metrics dashboard, I could somewhere in my footer show, hey, I'm live right now, I'm streaming to 2 people, and this is the title of my stream. Come check it out. If that could flash up there, or it could show offline when I'm not streaming. But these are different concerns. One is concerned with only the numbers, and one will be concerned with my live status. So I am not going to I'm not going to do anything with the live status here. It doesn't make sense to return that as part of the metrics Twitch endpoint. The viewer count would make sense if I put that in the footer, but I'm not going to do that in here. And I want to focus on just this one endpoint first. Yeah, but it's good that I know now that I have in Twitch API endpoint that can tell me information about my stream that is going on right now. I could even put a thumbnail. Nice. I could even put a thumbnail in my footer and say, if you want to come check this out, it's live right now. That'd be neat. That'd be very neat. I get started at, so I could show I've been live for 73 minutes. And I can show I'm streaming to this many people. But I would like to get the previous streams as well. Like I was live 5 days ago, and these are the numbers from that. Or I would like ideally to get channel information like how many hours total have I streamed. I'm not sure if the API has that. So we are going to ignore. I'm gonna remember this for later. What other endpoint do we have? Get channel stream schedule. I can get that with an app access token. Cool. But is that helpful at all? Maybe if it tells me when I was, if it's just the schedule, and my schedule is relatively maybe. Okay, maybe, but not for this endpoint. If I am live in the footer, I could show I'm streaming right now. If I'm offline, I could say I'm not streaming right now, but I'm scheduled to stream again here on this date. With a start time, a UTC offset. Oh, wait, no, what? Gets all scheduled broadcasts or specific scheduled broadcasts from a channel's stream schedule. Scheduled broadcasts are defined as stream segments in the API. I could pass it a broadcaster ID, so give me the schedule of this one person. Cool. Get ID of stream segment to return. I don't know what a scheduled broadcasts are defined as stream segments. Would you not return all of them and give me the next one first? Because I could schedule hundreds, well, up to 100 for this API, hundreds of streams. Maximum number of stream segments to return. Don't want the pagination. So I think if I can't get the other information I'd like for my dashboard, I'm gonna leave it at view count and follower count. The other parts will be interesting for this live ticker in the footer that I could add. But I can't can I get more information about the user? Get videos. Get videos by a user. So do I want to show how many times I streamed? And is videos and clips, do they take clips out of the videos count? In any case, we can only ever use the get endpoints because we don't have user information. We can't ever update anything about a particular user. So do I want to get the extensions? I don't know if that would be interesting. Get users follows we have. Get users we had as well for the number of followers. Get teams. I am not on a team. I don't think the tags are super interesting. I could get subscriptions. So I could put on there as well, in addition to the followers, how many subscribers do I have right now? I mean, why not? We're playing with the API anyways, so let's do that next. I'm gonna remove this part. This is not gonna be difficult to reproduce if I decide to take that over. So follower count we need. The is live we're gonna take out. So the streams JSON wasn't interesting and the is live wasn't interesting, but we can const subscriptions request. We can await the, what is it, HTTPS api.twitch.tv/helix/subscriptions. And here we have to pass a broadcaster ID. Now I wonder if that is the same as my user ID. I'm gonna assume that it is. Same as before with the get and the authorization headers, and we want to const why is that such a hard word? Subscriptions JSON is await subscriptions response.json. Let's see what that returns. Subscriptions JSON. Yeah, see, I messed it up again. Subscriptions. There we go. Subscriptions JSON. Okay, so it's the user ID of the broadcaster, and my user ID is we have that. What's happening here? We get a response back. Yeah, I probably mistyped it somewhere. Subscriptions. Subscriptions request. On line 49. So this word is not the same as that other word. Subscriptions response. God, am I dyslexic? Not that there's anything wrong with that. Subscriptions request. Response, that was easy. I was looking at the wrong word to correct. Hey, thanks for checking it out. It'll be live. It'll be available afterwards if you want to check it out later. That'd be neat. It'll also be on YouTube afterwards. Missing scope, channel read subscriptions or channel subscriptions. So that is something we haven't encountered before. Get broadcaster subscriptions requires an OAuth token. So a user level token can be requested on behalf of a broadcaster with a user access token or by a Twitch extension with an app access token if the broadcaster has granted the channel read subscription scope from within the Twitch extensions manager. I'm gonna check that over here. I have the Twitch stream manager up on my second display. And I want to see if this extension, if my website now shows up as an extension. No, I don't. So if I made this an official installable extension, I can share that with you here. So this is the Twitch creator dashboard. I can add extensions to my account, crowd control, whatever, and I can see my extensions. But I don't have one that fits my channel. I would have to go through the extensions discovery page, meaning I'd have to make this installable. I want this to be just for my application, my own personal website. So I can't do that, which is too bad. So next time I have to check first if I can do this with an app access token. Here we can. So that's too bad. I'm gonna just leave it because I need to only change something about the endpoint here in a bit. That's too bad. So let's ignore this endpoint. What else is there? Tags, stream markers. As an arbitrary point in a stream that the broadcaster wants to mark. I could push a button here and then a piece is marked and you could jump straight here, but for these I don't know why I would put this on a dashboard, right? The context, again, for those that are tuning in, is creating this kind of dashboard where I share some of my numbers publicly. I want to see what I can get out of the Twitch API. Stream markers, get followed streams. We have get streams. That we were on before. That's active streams. No soundtrack. No searching. Has to be a get endpoint. Get channel iCalendar. So get channel stream schedule we have up there. So we might have to move over to the next kind of endpoint that we can do for live information. No polls, no moderation. Everything here is moderation. No hype train games, goals, event sub. We could get event subscriptions. That's not something that I can put on a dashboard and say my event subscriptions went up. Extensions I don't need. I don't know what to do with. Clips. Get clips. Let's just see if that's something we could do anything with. Get chat settings. No, get custom reward, get channel editors, I'm my channel editor, get channel information. We started out with, didn't we? I'm gonna check it out again. It's analytics, get game analytics, but gets a URL that game developers can use to download analytics reports. Yeah, no, I'm not developing a game that people share on Twitch. And adds extension analytics, no. Okay, so nothing else in here. If I want to do something, I could use the channels information. Did I do something with that yet? No, I didn't. So I did users follows, and I did, well, subscriptions I have to remove, right? The subscriptions we found out we can't do. But we know we're probably going to do something with Helix again. And here we have gets channel information for users. We need an app access token. We have that. And we pass it a broadcaster ID. We get name. Okay, we looked at that before. We don't get any relevant information. Title of the stream, stream delay in seconds. There was another one that was more interesting. Yeah, I don't think we can do anything with that. It might be that we have to leave it at view count and follower count. Chat settings, we need an app access token for, however, to include the non-moderated chat delay. Settings in the response, you must specify a user access token. Okay, so if we want to get these pieces of information from this endpoint, we also need to have a user access token. If we don't want that, just the app access token is sufficient. This one, moderator ID, is not required, and we would get, what is this about? This is about chat settings. A Boolean value that determines whether chat messages must contain only emotes. That is not something I want to share on a dashboard. Dashboard. What's a dashboard? Follower mode duration. No, okay, I don't think anything about the chat would be interesting to show on a dashboard. So ignore. Get clips. Gets clip information by clip ID, broadcaster ID, or game ID. So I could ask it with my app access token for clips from that I created or that are about things that I did. I don't have clips, so I don't think that would make sense. No, we're gonna ignore that and get videos. Now that maybe, if that is previous recordings. Gets video information by one or more video IDs, user ID or game ID. Gets video information for one user ID. I have a user ID, I need an app access token. For lookup by user or game, several filters are available that can be specified as query parameters. So either give me all my videos or limit it to something else. The user ID of the user who owns the video. So let's just try, let's see what that returns. We have the api.twitch.tv/helix videos, and we want to pass the user ID, which is my user ID. I don't need to change, well, I would change this to be videos response. I called it follows request here, that didn't make sense. Response, and here follows response. For count videos response, and here we have the videos JSON would be the videos response. What happens if I just put that in my output? The videos JSON. Oh nice, the follower count went up by 1 during the stream. That was very nice of you. And nothing happens. Video, because I again use the singular. It has to be the plural because this is a REST endpoint and that's just more cleaner. I get data. What's the data that I get? I get adding Twitch stats to a Next.js project. That's where we're at right now. Type archive. Sure. Oh, cool. Yes. Nice. Okay. Then I get my previous stream cleaning. That's important. Cleaning up a Next.js project. Created at, published at. So I created it at March 1st. Okay. Created and published is the same. I thought maybe I could get the duration of the stream, but I can get the duration of the stream because it has the duration right here. 1 hour, 36 minutes and 24 seconds. There are no muted. Okay, I could mute segments. I did not know that. Cool, so Twitch lets me mute a few pieces during my stream. It's viewable publicly. It has a... I mean, I'm getting started with this, so this is actually a pretty high number. It has a view count of 21. Then I get playing games to learn CSS, Flexbox, and Grid. That was a previous video that I did. With a full... Okay, you get the full description also. I get the URL to the video. I get the thumbnail URL right in the API response. So I can't... Okay, maybe not. Potentially could get the thumbnail of the video. It was viewed 9 times. So I could put these statistics on my site somewhere. That is neat. And I guess if I add them all up together, I'd get to the 211 that we are at up here. What else? Okay, so how many videos are there? Because I thought it only kept a certain number. And after that, I have to always export it. I export it to YouTube anyways. But how far back can we go? It would be neat if I could say I've streamed this many times. And I have streamed for a total of this many numbers of hours, this many hours. That would be possible. That would be possible if you go all the way back. to adding open graph tags to a Next.js application. I don't remember when I did that. That might have been my first, was that my first stream? So I need a bit more information about this now. So first of all, I don't need everything here. Some of them I can cut out, so they are a bit easier to parse. Let's do videos, JSON, let's map them. Nope, that wouldn't work. So give me .data and give me the first value. Const videos. So I don't want all this information. I don't want the language. I don't want the stream ID. I don't need the user login. So let's start by cutting some of them out. Videos we can map over because it is an array. The data array here contains a lot of objects that are videos. This is not typed, so I have to. What can I do? So here I want to. I did a tip on that once, didn't I? Let me check if I have something neat. Let's check here. Actually, I can show you what I'm looking at. donhabazak.com. And I have. Why are you dark? I have a bunch of fire tips. That's supposed to be white. What happened to the background? Oh. Okay, a Tailwind CSS update happened. I'm gonna fix that some other time. Object. Destructuring the console object. No, I don't have a search on here, so I have to do this manually, quickly finding objects in large array. Catching unknown keys. Nope. Sorting arrays by properties, freezing for immutability, building objects from nested arrays, mapping over objects, maybe. Plucking properties from object arrays, that is what I want. So, if I have objects, and I want just some... Not quite what I want. Not quite what I want. Okay, I'm gonna keep looking. Merging objects, picking object properties, but I think that is picking them out. Is it? Nope, that is what I want. Ideal. So I have a helper function here that I can pass an object and I can pass an array of attributes. And I then use this, whatever this helper function does, it's a reduce call that iterates over the object. It doesn't iterate over that iterates over all the objects in this array, over all the properties here, and gives me just them. So we are going to take this, and I'm going to put this in this file directly. I will move it to a helper function later. So just know that pick is a function that I pass an object and I pass some properties. Thank you for the spam in the chat. I pass an object, I pass a list of properties that I want. And here, then for each video, I want to pick video and what properties do we want? We want the title. We want do we want the description? Let's do created at. Let's do URL. View count makes sense. Language, it will always be English. Type archive, we can look at the API what that means, but duration, definitely. Duration, that we want to do something with. Maybe we can get to the duration list of durations, the duration summary, I mean the overall duration of my videos. In line 59. So I didn't close something here. There we go. Got to close this. data map is not a function. Is it? Ah, right, because data itself is the array of videos. Okay, cool. So we have the videos. For each video, only have the title created at, URL, view count, and duration. Total view count I don't need because I have that already. So let's remove the view count. All I would do is add those up. So title created at URL duration. Down here I still have the full object for reference. I could get more information from them if I wanted to, but let's actually focus on the duration. Let's focus on the duration, and it seems to always be one, like the hour, minutes, and seconds. We're gonna do... We don't need all this. I'm gonna keep it because I might want something else later, but I actually, all I want is the duration. Yeah, okay, it doesn't make sense to do the pick then. If all I want is the video duration, I can just say for each object, return the duration. Like so. And this would now only give me an array of these. No, it wouldn't. One extra parenthesis here. This now gives me all the video durations. These are strings, I can't add them up. But I can map over them. So ideally I would have this in, let's say, seconds. So I am going to map. I could do this in one map, but let's do it in two for now. And clean that up later. So what do I want? I want to first... I want a regular expression. Const hours, minutes, seconds. Equals. So what could that look like? Go into the console here. We could do, if this is a string, dot. Okay, we could do split. We could say split this at the h. And then we get a 1. Could we split it at multiple things? We could say split it at the h and split it at the m. No, that wouldn't work. Split it at the h or the m. So here, 1h, 1m, 43s turns into 1, 1, 43s. That's not ideal. I want it to match a regular expression. So I have digits, at least one digit, but not really. H. Let's make this match this one exactly. So 1 digit and an H, 1 digit and an M, 2 digits and an S. And it's not match, is it? Regular expressions, always something I have to look up. Because I keep mixing up the test and the application of it. Writing them is fine, we don't want to replace. So is it test or is it match? Or is it search? No, search is only does it match at all. And split isn't it either. So test would just be, has to be matched though, right? If we match it with a regular, if we match a string with a regular expression, then we get its matches. Let's do it one shorter. Let's say just match 4 digits. And let's match 4 digits globally. Okay, so this would give me all the numbers, but I don't know which one is the hours, which one is the seconds, and which one is the minutes. So instead, I want to say match for a number and an H. Then match for a number and an M. Then match for two numbers and an S. Okay, of course. So it matched before, that was fine, but I have to put them in groups, so it extracts them for me. So every dash D, and here the dash D. No? Why not though? How do I do regular expressions? I do capture it like that though, don't I? I think I just forgot how regular expressions work. Dash H, dash D. Okay, so take this slower. Is it search? Have regular expressions changed? Match and search. Nope, that isn't it. Why is that? What? Okay, so this string matches. Why does it not give me the matches? Using, well, I don't need a named capturing group. Why don't we make this easier? So please match the digits globally. And please match one or more digits. So at least I get 1, 1, 43. I'm not going to fix the regular expression now. And then we want to take those. And we can parse int them. No, we can't. So anyways, we are going to, we have a value, and that value is parse int. This is terrible. What I'm doing now is absolutely terrible, and I have a better idea on how to do that in a second. Parse int value and 10, and then we at least get them as numbers. So we are going to do this with tests, because I'm not doing this on the console here. That makes no sense. So we are going to touch lib, sum up durations, ts, and test.ts. I'm gonna put this in a neat little helper function. npm, wait, I'm in the right directory. Swap pane, move that here so I don't cover the tests. cd projects, my website, and we have sum up durations dot test. I'm probably looking at the time. We'll see how far we can get. At least I'm going to write some tests on it. Import sum up durations from the file. It doesn't exist. We do red green refactor again. So we first have a failing test, then we can make the test pass from sum up durations. Describe this is jest here, and we're going to test sum up durations. And let's think about what it is that we wanted to return. Do I want it to return the value in seconds, or in minutes, or in hours? I'm gonna split it up. I'm gonna split it up. So it sums up a single value. So if I did expect sum up durations, I assume I'm going to define now that I'm going to pass it an array of one value. which is the value 1H, 27, M, and 15S. And I want it to be, what do I want it to be? We're gonna go minutes. We're gonna go seconds. So 1 times 60 times 60 plus 15 plus, plus 27. So I would expect this result to be 3,642. 3,600 and what was it? 42. Yeah. But I'm not going to test this. Describe dot skip. We are going to add another helper function. Touch lib. It is duration to seconds. Dot ts and dot dot test.ts. Duration 2 seconds. Test. Import duration 2 seconds. So everything that I would now have tried to painstakingly do in the browser, I'm gonna write tests for. I'm gonna offload that so I don't have to keep checking over here. Does that work? Now I have the tests that will make sure, that will confirm for me every time that the function works how I need it to. We are going to describe duration 2 seconds. And it doesn't need to be pretty even. It needs to fulfill the test requirements here. It parses seconds to a number. So if I pass it, I assume this will always return, always receive the values as returned by the Twitch API, as we see on the left here. So 1H, 1M, 43S. So I pass you duration 2 seconds is 6S. 2B, I want this to return the number 6. npm run test unit watch. Let's have the tests run. Some more space. And let's put the implementation at the top here. Duration 2 seconds. Export default function. Duration 2 seconds. That receives a duration. And it returns just the duration. So first my test will... Okay, because I'm not going to continue with the server part of this. We're going to focus on writing the implementation for these functions here so we can actually ignore the browser. Need some more space here. And we are going to swap the panes, the source 2 and the target 3. Close this one down here. Oh, and I have more files that I need to delete. Which was it? Trash. Pages. API metrics. Twitch.test.ts. Those tests I don't need anymore. So I want a failing test. I want a test to fail because my function duration 2 seconds doesn't do anything yet. It does, but I haven't saved this file, so this doesn't exist yet. Duration 2 seconds default is not a function. I'm going to save it. I am going to still have a failing test because it expects the... Oh. Where's that? Some operation test in line 8. Where did I not close a thing? What are you happy about now? Expected comma. God, okay, so where is my syntax error? Sum up duration. Okay, okay, I was looking at the wrong file. Ah, what's happening? sum up duration test. Here. I wasn't happy here, but we're doing another test first. Duration 2 seconds test. So this, I return the exact same value that I put in. So of course, if I expect 6s to be 6, that doesn't work. So we can... seconds is duration dot match. We're going to say give me all the digits, just all of them. And even if it matches them, wait, console log, what is seconds now? And seconds is an array of the number 6, index 0, input 6s, groups. Okay, but all I want is the first match. So I am going to do, just give me whatever is at 0. My test still fails because... because first of all I'm returning the wrong thing. I'm returning the input value, not the one that I parsed here. But it still fails because I receive a string instead of a number. So if I want this to be a number, parse int. This is not going to be the final thing I'm going to do in this function. I'm going to clean this up. I just, for now, if we strictly do red green refactor, we do a red test, we fix the test, and then we can refactor it. And then we want it to it parses minutes and seconds to the number. Let's rename the test to the number of seconds. And we would pass it in this now a minute and second value, so 5 minutes and 30 seconds is 5 times 60, 330 seconds. I want you to be 330. And here also rename it to the number of seconds. Tests will fail because that's their point. Sorry, that went down the wrong pipe. Oh god. Okay. But now I don't receive 300. I'm gonna have to mute myself. Yeah, what's up? So I don't get a number of seconds now, and I don't even get the number of 30 seconds here, which is what I pass in. I get a 5. So my test tells me you expect 330, but I give you 5. But I got 5. That's not good. And the 5 it gets is because of this regular expression up here, where we basically tell it to give me the first number, give me the first digit. And that is not good. Now, if we log out the result, let's ignore this 0. Let's make just the tests fail. Let's have it return something completely incorrect. But I want to explore what the regular expression returns. If I did this, give me a number, then I get a 6 for the first test and a 5 for the second test. So 6 is fine because this is the only digit here. But I also get a 5 here. If I tell it to give me digit and s, and wait, it needs to be a plus because I want to have at least one digit. Then what do I get? Then I get 6s or 30s, which is better, but I still have the s in here. I can't parse that. I think I could parse that. What happens if I put you in a group? What are my matches like now? So I get 6s for this matched up here. Wait. This matched up. Wait. This matched up here, and also get a 6 for, yeah, this is the number of seconds. Now we're also missing the number of minutes. And if I go, give me a group of digits with an M in it. Wait, no, multiple digits. Tests are gonna fail. Like this is good because we are on the right path. So for seconds I get null, I get nothing. But for the, this is the first test. For the first test where we pass 6s, we get nothing. And for the second, at least, we get 5 and 30. But why is that? Why is that missing now? Where did the 6 go? Well, the 6 disappeared because will you stop scrolling? Because now the regular expression requires there to be a minute information as well, a minute number. And if we don't have that, we need to make it optional. So we're going to put these in a group as well and say you are question mark, you are either there or you are not. And have to group them. Now that will be a bit unfortunate in this here, because we now get 5s, undefined, undefined, and 6. What does that mean? So it gives me the different groups that it finds. The first value, 6s, or in case of the second test, the 5m30s, it gives me everything that it matched on the duration. The entire part of this login, of this duration that it matched. Then it gives me the next group that it finds, and the next group is these parentheses here. The one that begins with a group and ends with an M. So this is the 5m here and undefined here. Then I get the number that it found for the value that I found for this group. This first group, which is 5 or undefined in case of the first value, the first test, and 6 for the number of seconds. That's good. That's decent. And we can now, what do we need to match? We can, okay, we can do two things. Let's say we have matches, and let's say we have matches and we want to get the minutes, which is matches, and that is the value at the third position, so with the index 2, and const seconds is the value at the third index. One of them will be undefined. And then for the result, we are going to return minutes times 60, because there's 60 seconds in a minute, and the seconds as they are. That's not going to be pretty. That's not going to be what we want. So we get none6 and we get 30,030. Why? Okay, because these matches are strings. And if we take a string and we multiply it by 60, it will take this first string, and this first let's look at the second test. If it gets the 5, and it sees the string 5 times 60, it will give me 300 as the number. But seconds is a string, and if I say take the number 300 and add the string 30 to it, it concatenates them. Yeah, I know it's a big joke, JavaScript silly. We just have to be aware of that and cover for that. Because what else would it do? What would a good programming language do when it sees a string and it sees a number and it's asked to add them to each other? It doesn't really make sense to do one or the other. What we want to do, the easiest we can do, is say we are going to parse int with the basis of 10, and parse int here we can parse them both to numbers first. Still not gonna be, test is still not gonna be green. So only one fails now. Only the one with the duration 2 seconds fails. Because we don't have minutes. In the first test, we don't have minutes. And here the calculation then is, we parse matches at position 2 is undefined. Undefined as a number is not a number, N-A-N. And that number plus a number, not a number plus any number, is not a number. So that doesn't make sense. We can now check, we could check if minutes is undefined or not, but we're actually going to do, wait, no, that wouldn't work. So if matches 2 is a value, if it's not undefined, it's good. If it's undefined, use 0. If it's not undefined, use the value. Cool. Now the matches here we will care about in a second, because now we need to parses hours, minutes, and seconds to the number of seconds. If we add to this 1 hour, 30 seconds, 30 minutes, and 10 seconds. Why not? How many seconds is that? It's 1 times 60 times 60 plus 30 plus 10. That'd be 3,640. 3,640. That test will fail because we're not doing anything with the hours yet. Cannot read properties of null. Reading 2. Without looking too much at this, we know that we at least need to copy this group here. So it could begin with something that has an H in it. But then the matches will all need to shift a bit. What are the matches now? So the matches are null for the last test. I removed the S. That's something that we couldn't test. Also that it returns undefined on a malformed string. And I got a German message. I thought in German for a second. Tests still fail. Because what are the matches? The matches are now the full string that it matched, the hours, then the hour number, just the value of numbers, value of hours, number of hours. So we want the hours is on position 0, 1, 2. So hours is parse int matches 0, 1, 2. The minutes is at 2, 3, 4. And the 3 is at 5. And we need to return the hours times 60 times 60 plus minutes. I'd expect the tests to mostly pass now. Where did I go wrong here? If I have 1 hour times 60 times 60 plus 30 plus 10. Yeah, 30 times 60. Yeah, of course. It is 5,410. So the test told me that I was being silly. The test is right. I was wrong. It is in fact 5,410. And there we go. The tests all pass. Now, is this the most attractive function ever? It definitely is not. Is there a neater way of doing the same thing? I guess so. But it gets the job done. The tests are green now. I could do some refactoring here. Do I want that? What else? So how else could I do this? I could split this at the H, M, and S. There's a different approach we can take to this entirely. I like that we're being explicit in knowing which one is the hours, minutes, and seconds. I could also, let's do that. Let's just take this out. So we have, instead of that, we have values is duration split. We can split the entire duration at H, M, and S. Split it at one of these values. And globally, yeah. Oh yeah, of course, this is gonna fail now. I guess I can keep this in here. I want to see the... going well, thank you. Hi there, message in the chat. How are you going? I'm about to wrap this up, so there's only a few more minutes that I have in this here. And so many messages that I need to get back to. Ooh. And now, okay, so we split this globally on 6, 5, 30, 1, 30, 10. Which is decent. So I took out all the characters. I took out all the H's, the M's, and the S's. I don't have any confirmation that there's only one H, one M, and one S, so I'd have to rely on that. I could, if I did it this way, I could say you always pass, I could pass values that are just 1 M, 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 10S. That would work. So I don't have any safety, any security on the makeup of the input. I have to catch that separately. So if, and let's do that. That is better. It returns, or it throws an error, right? It throws an error when it encounters an unexpected format. We do expect duration to seconds. Now, what is something ludicrous that I could pass here? I could pass it. Oh, there's another thing that we need to catch. Okay, it doesn't matter. We could pass one hello, 406 minutes, and 999 seconds. That, of course, is a ludicrous number. Wouldn't make any sense. So we can expect this to throw. We want to confirm that duration. I think it's test in this case. So we want it to match 1 or 2 digits and then hours. And as we saw in the Twitch API, sometimes it returns just 1 digit for the minutes. If it's 3 minutes, it doesn't return 0. 3 minutes, it returns 3 minutes. So we have to check. It could be 1 or 2 minute numbers, and then the same /d 1 or 2 seconds. If it doesn't match that, so guard, throw new error. What happens now? Expected a semicolon. Yeah, because there is a parenthesis that I did not close. Is it test? Is test the right function to use here? Search or test? Okay, here's the other way around. I have to go regular expression, test this string. Okay, so we are going to const pattern is a new regex. And here we go, does the pattern match the duration that we pass in? And test returns either true if it matches or false if it doesn't. And let's return, just for now, let's return undefined, because I need to finish this up in a second. So we can say it returns undefined instead of throws an error. To be undefined, but everything's still wrong. And days and hours are still optional. Days, hours, and minutes are optional. You are optional, you are optional, so either one or none. Why does it... Ah. So this last one still matches. Huh. Okay, I need to make sure that, of course, I need to check that this matches from beginning to end. Otherwise, this would match if it ends on a number and S. I need it to be exactly that. It found, okay, this ends in 2 digits and an S. That appears somewhere, the others are optional. That was fine. Okay, so the tests pass. Now I need to change the calculation here. If we split it now, we split it to these values, and we can map over them. Value is parse int value and 10. What are my values? NaN. Then before we map, we want to filter value, and is value not an empty string? Still not the prettiest, but I want to see if there's an approach that reads nicer. So what do we have? We have the values 6, 530, and 130, 10. How do I get this to a value of numbers now? I can reduce it. Actually, let's reverse it. So I get the seconds first, always first, then the minutes, then the hours, and then I can reduce it, which is a total and a value. And we want the index as well. So we start with, return the total times value times 60 times 0. So I hope this works. I hope this does what I want. And it does not. No, it doesn't. So total times value. And I messed this up completely. Math.pow 60 and the index right. Yeah, that seems better. And I want you to now return all the right values. That is not even close. I am going to leave this as an exercise to the viewer. It works for the one, but somehow my math here is all screwed up, and I am at the point where I'm too hungry to see what's going on. But, I mean, to summarize this, we could either have this long regular expression, and then we can say, give me the value at the second part of the match, the fourth and the fifth part of the match, because we know what these groups are. I wonder if I could name them. Or we could say, just give me the number values and I'm going to move those around. You know what, this even, as long as the tests pass. This is a nice exercise, but not really relevant. I think we want to do the test for the pattern first before we do any matches, because if there's nothing, if it doesn't match the regular expression anyways, might as well not continue. Okay, so we can pick it up here on Tuesday, or I might do that on my off-stream time, to basically now we have a function that we can pass. Later we will be able to pass all the different durations of my stream videos to. And then we can get a sum of that, and we can from that build the total summary of hours that I have streamed. Okay. But I think for now this seems good enough. We looked at the Twitch API a bit and we saw some of the things that it can do. And we learned at least that we can build a dashboard with some of the information. And I can also now have a second endpoint that I can show I'm currently live, or I will be live in this many hours, and I'm streaming to that many people. Overall, I'd say that was still pretty successful, even though I have to cut this short for time now. Thank you for watching. If you looked at my schedule earlier, I'll stream again on Tuesday, 10 a.m. Central European time, and Thursdays, same time, for about an hour to 2 hours usually, if that works out. Thank you for hanging out. I hope I'll see you again soon, and have a lovely rest of the day. See ya.